Alright. Let me just check everything's going well. 14 viewers. To invest more money into internet. I don't know what the hell was going on last time. That was weird. Alright, everything should actually be going well this time. So how's everyone doing tonight? Everyone's doing well, I hope. I know the feeling. Return of the AIDS. Okay. Just wanted to check to see if everything's working fine. And I do believe it should be yes. No. Yes. Yes. All right. 4 chapters down, 4 to go. Is the hooker subplot gonna show up again? God, I hope so. Hang on. All right, let's try and get this over with fairly quickly. At least as quick as we can for this insanely long bullshit story. I don't know why the hell we scrolled all the way down here. Yeah, morbid flattery. That's where we were last time. Hmm. All right. We got enough people? No, we need to have this open right now. What do we got, like 18 people? I think it says on my end. That should be fine. Make a Discord post. Hang on. Maybe have Discord open. Oh, wrong chat. Okay. I might get a few more people in here. We'll see what happens. What the fuck is going on with the stream? Okay. Yeah, I can't expect it to be exactly the same as last night. That's fine. All right. Shall we get started? Ladies and gentlemen? I believe we should. This would be chapter 5. Morbid flattery. Like I told you before, that is not Jeffrey Woods, Simon repeated as he and Dalton stood over the corpse. They had arrived at the morgue. I'm sorry. Fucking Ian just reminded me of last night. That's okay. I do have it live chat. Good, so I'm not missing anyone's chat. Less than 10 minutes prior, and we're waiting for the medical examiner to come give her report. Fucking makeup and a contact lens. Why? Dalton mumbled to himself. Clearly, this individual wanted the murder to be credited to Jeff Woods. Okay, I have an issue with that. Because, like, in order for the disguise to matter at all, you would need to, like, you need to have witnesses. And if you're just killing both the people in the house, then, well, you're stupid. Especially if you got all the other... Oh, thank you, Sage Elsie. Don't lay out to dry, Mr. Fish, while reading a dry story about a fisheries. Thank you so much. But yeah, and like with all the other forensic evidence that this guy was talking about, like it'd just be stupid. All right then. So yeah, what a dumb shit teenager. Oh Jesus! Thank you, guy in the hat. To more creepypasta reviews. Definitely. Oh my God, I'm very sorry about that. Definitely for sure down the road. There's forces. Jump scares me every time because it's just a bit delayed. At least I knew that one was coming. Okay. So yeah, this Jeff the Killer imitator is fucking retarded, just like the author of this story. No shit, Sherlock. I'm just wondering, why now? Why after 4 years trying to do this? The medical examiner entered the room.
Well, I might be able to answer some of that for you.
Marla Darrow, Mandeville's forensic expert, informed them. Guilty pleasure pastas? I guess that would be like maybe Godzilla NES. I mean, it's not so bad that I think it deserves guilty pleasure, but I mean, I enjoy it even though it's not the best. Give us spy or give us a soy. Pick one, Ian. Well, shit, Marla. Don't keep us in the dark.
The young man on the table in front of you is Brian Antoines, 21 years old and just recently released from the Southeast Louisiana Psychiatric Hospital. According to the records, he just got out of here 5 months ago.
Okay, so he's just crazy. And as we all know, crazy people can do anything the plot requires them to do. It doesn't matter. They're crazy. What was he in there for?
The standard onset of schizophrenia from the records I could pull. It's a sad story for many kids, as the symptoms of schizophrenia usually start accelerating in their teenage years. Seems as though he was treated for depression and delusional behavior through the hospital's outpatient wing, but eventually those treatments weren't enough. Looks like they officially started inpatient treatment 3 years ago when his issues at school could no longer be managed by his foster parents.
Foster parents. So this kid was an orphan.
His biological parents are unknown. State records indicate that he was dropped off at the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office as an infant. The names of the parents were recorded. Likely were never given. He bounced around from foster home to foster home until his mental illness became too much for his guardians to handle.
Yeah, it's like, I really hate that shit in stories where it's just like, someone is crazy, therefore we could do anything we want with the plot because crazy people don't operate by any sort of logic that is like here's the thing. Crazy people operate by logic. It's just different than ours. Like someone in the chat earlier asked me who my favorite JoJo villain was, and it's Kira for this exact reason. Because he's fucking crazy, but he's crazy in like this consistent way, and he believes that like he operates under this really twisted logic, but it is at the end of the day logic. It's like, "Oh, my fingernails are growing too much. Time to kill people." That's just how it works. And like that's interesting. That's way more interesting than just like killing people for no reason. Give them a crazy reason to do it. Plot coupons, that's a very good way to put it. Ryman Simon rubbed his chin thoughtfully. It's like the great wordsmith William Smith once said, parents just don't understand. Dalton chuckled at this, causing Marla to give them a sharp look. Is this funny to you too? A kid is dead. I'm sorry, Marla, is it? We've had a rough night. Dalton snickered again. Ah, shit, Marla. I'm sorry. That's the funniest thing this little weirdo has said since I met him. Plus, yeah, we were almost run off the damn street tonight, and oh yeah. Dalton quickly walked towards the exit, leaving Simon and the less than humorous Marla to entertain each other in the meantime. So, Marla, I'm only in town for a day or two, but... Simon Lyman began. I'll save you the trouble. I'm married, I have a boyfriend, I'm a lesbian, she replied. Wait, that's all pretty contradictory, isn't it? Pick one, Agent Lyman, I don't care. Man, how dare they? How dare this bitch turn down Ryman Simon Lyman? Talk about countering players with good weapons? Maybe. Maybe. Sounds like Bentley from Sly. I was trying to go for who is it, Dr. Frank in The Simpsons? But yeah, I guess it ends up being kind of just a Bentley voice. Sly, you need to jump and press the circle button. Yeah, I guess that's the same voice I would use for Bentley. Filling the room with an awkward presence that pressed down on Simon's shoulders like a boulder on his back. So, Jeff the Killer, exciting stuff, huh? He stated, trying to regain his composure after the painful rejection. The, I can't believe this is coming back after the 2015 disaster. I think most people were hoping they'd seen the last. I'm so tired. I think most people were hoping they'd seen the last reboot of Jeff Woods and his misadventures. It's almost like people can't learn from their past mistakes. Why would anyone want to rehash all of this now? It's painful. And like honestly, that is not even good dialogue. This is terrible. Like that doesn't flow naturally at all. Like I get it, it's being cute and cheeky and meta or whatever, but it's also fucking annoying. Bluewood's book may have had something to do with it. It's banned from a lot of places down here. None of our locally owned bookstores will carry it. It was the corruption, though, if you ask me, that everyone in this city wants to forget.
More so than the murders themselves. Read the George Floyd creepypasta? Does that exist? Dalton returned to the room carrying the package they'd picked up off the road. Okay, Simon. Let's see just what these fuckers packed for us. Are you sure that's safe to open? Christ, you two should date each other. You're both afraid of the same crap. Dalton responded, causing Simon and Marla to smirk a bit at the observation. Dalton removed the pocket knife from his back pocket and carefully cut along the packing tape. Marla adjusted an overhead examination light to illuminate the metal table where Bradshaw had set the package. Simon took 2 steps back. Slowly, the tape was removed. Here! Marla grunted quickly, thrusting latex gloves into Dalton's hands. The package was open, and Dalton breathed a sigh of annoyance and relief. It's just a fucking CD, and wait, there's some pictures too. Let's see here. Hey, now we're getting some people. This pasta would be worse if it was written by Ryan Johnson. Honestly, I think that, I hate to say this, I think that's a disservice to Ryan Johnson. The Last Jedi had a couple of good scenes. It had a couple of decent ideas, but it's all just buried under a pile of crap that leaves it like a solid 2 out of 10. This is like a 0 out of 10. I can't believe The Last Jedi made me like hate Laura Dern. How do you do that? It's just mean. The only thing I know he made before The Last Jedi was Looper, which, like, if you're writing time travel, you're already putting yourself at a handicap because it's almost never going to work. Hey, thank you once again, Nagy Halls. Hi, Sauce. Nice to see you make a video back to back. What do you prefer, live streams or reviews of creepypasta, and what's easy to use? Also seeing my name, find Naki. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Um, well, the streams are obviously easier for me because I just sit down and talk to you guys. But I think my reviews are just better work. There it is. See, I heard Knives Out was actually good. Like, I'm sure the guy can like write a decent standalone story. Because a lot of people are saying like, oh, The Last Jedi is like fine as a sort of standalone thing, when it's not. It's really not. Like, oh hey, it's just The Last Jedi is fine if you ignore the 7 movies that came before it. Which, interestingly enough, is a defense that people did not pull out for The Rise of Skywalker. People are just biased. George Floyd joined my Among Us game. Oh god, put that one on fucking no sleep. Alright. A poor first draft, just like Black Panther. I'd agree with that. Okay. Contained in the small package were 2 photos and a DVD with no label. Dalton removed the photos and placed them on the table side by side. The first photo was Lou Woods, a recent one from the looks of it, perhaps even the photo from the sleeve of his now infamous book. The second picture looked a bit familiar to Dalton Bradshaw, though he wasn't quite sure until Simon spoke up. That's Randy Hayden. It's recent, too. Looks like a screenshot from his appearance on the Leslie Matthews show.
Would you rather talk to the chat than read garbage? Well, pretty much. I just did a bunch of impressions and sang a song last night rather than read this garbage. Dalton glanced over at the old clock on the one side. Almost midnight. We've been at this too long. I'm tempted to pop that CD into the nearest computer and take a look, but we better play this one by the book. We'll have our tech people look at it in the morning. Who knows what's on that disc?
Why not have the tech look at it tonight? I know you're tired, but this is just getting good. It only took us like 4 chapters to get to this point, but we're really getting onto something here, and I really want to know what's on that disc.
This is Mandeville. Our techies go home at dinner time, Dalton told the agent. He then turned his attention to Marla. We're gonna need the name of the dead kid psychiatrist who was treating him at Southeast Psych. If there are more answers, I think we'll find some there. The hospital will also have his most recent foster parents, and we're gonna want to pay them a visit as well. I think tomorrow's gonna be a busy day for us, Lyman. That's why we need to go and get some sleep.
Sly, you need to jump and say the N-word.
Just 500 gigabytes of Chip the Killer Rule 34. A lost album that has a song that predicts September 11th. Why do people go to 9/11 for creepypastas? Not even another one. This is just the second half of the first story. And we were here for 4.5 hours yesterday, so yeah, let's see how long this fucking takes.
I'll get the information for you. What about the pictures of Lou Woods and Randy Hayden? Any idea on how that connects? Besides the obvious, I mean, one is the Jeff Woods brother? Whatever. The other is the kid that shot him in the face with the flare gun, Simon informed her. Yeah, but Marla began, gazing down at the pictures, suddenly finding a new point of interest. Both of you, come look at this. I think there's another clue in here.
Oh, it's dreadful. It's just awful. It's honestly one of the worst things I've ever read. Yeah, it's not just the story that was so bad in the last stream. The last stream was also kind of bad. I don't know how it is in the playback, like the one that's up right now is a video, but uh okay. Dalton Bradshaw and Simon Lyman joined her and peered down into the box. There was something written on the bottom interior of the box, however, it was hardly visible. Fuck it all. I can't tell what it says. It's too damn faint.
Wait, I have an idea,
Marla stated, and reached up and fiddled with the lamp mounted above their heads. She toggled a switch, engaging the lamp's blacklight function. Suddenly, the three investigators were warped into a world of strange color. It's purple. The color is purple. Standing over a fresh corpse with the room glowing in odd hues of blue and black caused a small shiver to run down Simon's back. However, the mystery writing on the bottom of the box suddenly became clear to them all. 114 Shortcut Road. The dead prophet speaks, but when his source of power fades, his words of wisdom will be forever lost. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Honestly, like that's something I would expect from a sort of supernatural story where, something supernatural is actually happening. What's it mean? Simon was asking, but Dalton was already on his phone, calling for backup to meet them at the address hidden in the box. Shortcut Road. It's a small gravel stretch out in the middle of nowhere. It's got a reputation of being a place where bad things happen. When I was a kid, there were urban legends about devil worshippers out there. They were out there playing Doom on their CR20s.
There are a few abandoned houses back there, but that's about it. Not just any abandoned houses. Oh, wait. That probably wasn't him. Dalton snapped as he hung up his phone. Remember that video I was watching today? The one with the kids calling themselves Jeff's Killers? Back when that group was still active, they'd hold a lot of their meetings back there in those abandoned homes. Fucking shit, Simon. How the hell didn't we realize this sooner? I bet this is all the work of those fucking sick bastards. Detective Bradshaw! Those kids haven't been active in years. Not since they spent all that money to clear out Shortcut Road, and Marlowe was attempting to explain, but Dalton was already on the move. Oh, I also hate the way this is written, trust me. It's just dreadful. Oh, and ironically, we read Mein Kampf and the Communist Manifesto. If only to better understand the ideologies. Ugh. Okay, Simon, backup is on their way out there. Fucking Mandeville runs on a skeleton crew of cops at night. They're all a bunch of skeletons. It's actually very spooky. So they're reaching out to the St. Tammany Sheriff's Office for additional units. Let's get moving. Dalton grabbed a small box, throwing the photos and DVD back inside before briskly making his way towards the exit. Oh my god. Guys, the CD has Sonic.exe on it. And then the Cult of Jeff is going to play it and summon Jeff the Killer. He's going to come out of the TV with his knife and he's going to be like, go to sleep, and stabs them. And that's the end of the story. And then one of the cultists was Jane all along, and then she and Jeff kiss. Wait, the information you wanted, Marla shouted, holding up a small notebook. Here, I'll take it. Simon grabbed the piece of paper with the name of Brian Antoine Shrink written on it before turning to follow Dalton out to the parking lot. Dalton was already in his car with the engine running when Simon climbed into the passenger seat. He looked over at his partner with impatience in his eyes. Took you long enough. What were you doing in there? Trying to score a date or something? I was, actually. How it go? How it go? Ooh, how it go? Apparently, no wait. Apparently, she's a married lesbian with a boyfriend. Talk about covering the bases. I need to play it. Hang on. Hang on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Hang on. Hang on. Uh, There we go. That covers our bases, I think. No, John, you are the Jeff the Killers. Dalton snickered. I know for a fact that she's single and likes men. Guess he just fell outside of her scope of interest. Figures. So, give me the rundown on this area. Marla said that it's a bad spot. Dalton reached into his glove compartment and grabbed another Adderall from the plastic baggie. In case you need a reminder of this Adderall's backstory, it had... Simon gave him a strange look but asked no questions. Mind if I smoke? Dalton asked, already lighting a cigarette without waiting for an answer. He took a long drag and began to answer Simon's questions. Shortcut Road used to be what one might consider Mandeville's bad part of town. There used to be a small neighborhood back there, if you could even call it that. The utilities were rough back there, always going out due to poor maintenance. Now, by the time I transferred out here, they'd actually gone out there and cleaned a lot of it up. I don't think anyone really lives out there anymore. Of course, that idiotic Jeff Woods cult turned some of the abandoned houses out there into their frickin' clubhouses. My first couple months working out here, I had to go back there just once for a call. What was it? Well, Jeff's killers were just about gone and forgotten by then. People were growing up and the legend of Jeff the Killer was losing its appeal to kids out there. Wait, wait, I see a name. I see a name. I see a name, boys. There were still a few that would go out there to smoke dope or whatever from time to time, but they weren't dressing up as Jeff Woods anymore. I think they just kept going at it to piss off Drake, Arkansas. Remember from the real Jane the Killer story? Jane, Arkansas? We're getting our connection, boys. We're getting there. Wait, Drake, Arkansas. He's the guy that bought Maxwell Hayden shares of his company. How was he involved with Jeff's killers? Ah, something the expert here doesn't know. Well, Drake's first act of business was securing majority ownership of Hayden's firm. Hayden sold him 35% of the company, and Drake just threw his fucking money around until he secured the other 16%. Don't ask me for the details, because I'm just a dumb cop, but I know that once he owned 51% of the company, he basically owned Mandeville. What? Yeah, why misspell it by one letter? It's like white girl names on Tinder. Simon was looking down at his phone, pulling additional information to add to the conversation. Falstaff Enterprises. That's what it's called now. Yeah, Drake was a big public figure guy, though. He knew that Maxwell Hayden had fucked himself royally with underhanded deals and backroom bribes, so he decided to go the opposite route. Drake was Mr. Limelight. He was making money hand over fist and started trying the hearts and minds approach. Benny, what is it? What is it, Benny? What is it? You wanna go outside? Is there someone outside? Come on, boys. Yeah, there really is a lot of fucking exposition in this story. Ba-ba-ba-ba. They wanted to bring Mandeville back to its once glorious status as a suburban paradise, which, of course, meant getting rid of all the Jeff the Killer residue. Jeff the Killer freaking residue? Like, I wanted to read it correctly, but that just sounded like it would flow so poorly in an actual conversation. Simon looked up from his phone. It says here that he hired a bunch of cops to work off duty for him, sort of like his own personal task force. Seems like cleaning out Shortcut Road and getting rid of the Jeff fan club back there was his first big act. Technically second. Did you know he moved himself and his daughter into Jeff Wood's old house? Yep, right there on Fairmont. Place burned down not too long ago. Good riddance, I suppose. His daughter, I wonder what her name is. Hmm. So, Drake, Arkansas pissed these kids off that were using the old houses back there to have their little Jeff parties, and you think the few that remain did so just to mess with the guy? More than likely, yes. I mean, it was like history repeating itself. They saw him as just another rich asshole trying to write the laws in this town. I guess the joke's on them, though. Drake, Arkansas died last year. His daughter is still around here, though. She pops up from time to time. The two men had become lost in conversation as Dalton turned down dark road after dark road, taking them further into the backwoods of St. Tammany Parish. It was the massive glow of red and blue lights up ahead that broke their chatter and brought them back to the present. That's our backup. Or in this case, I suppose we're the backup now. Must be a dozen cars up there. They got here quick. It's a boring town to be a cop in, Simon. If this was New Orleans, that backup would arrive sometime next week. Out here, though, the cops are chomping at the bit for something to do. I bet half those guys up there are already preparing their bullshit stories to tell over cheap beers, and Simon suddenly cut him off, shouting, "Look out!"
From behind them, an ambulance came speeding past. It ran over Yoshikage Kira. Okay, shit, what the fuck is happening? Dalton grunted as he stepped on the accelerator to inspect their destination. Dalton's eyes immediately fell on the news van parked across the street, and it felt his stomach flip over. Media. How? I mean, a lot of that was just kind of explanation and backstory, but if you'll notice, no cutaways. So, yeah, that was the best chapter so far. Oh, and we immediately go to a cutaway at the start of the next chapter. Uh, Great. Yeah, still no Jeff. Chapter 5 out of 8 completed. Still no Jeff. I'm telling you, he is going to be exactly like Luke Skywalker in The Force Awakens. He's standing there on a cliff. He takes off his hood and turns around to Jane, and she hands him a kitchen knife. And then we cut to credits. And speaking of the fucking shitty sequels, the dead speak. Or rather, the dead prophet speaks. From Woodsu, New Orleans. Grisly murder on the North Shore. Also, that is the incorrect grizzly. Because that's the kind of bear. Like, grizzly, you'd spell it with an S if it's like a grisly murder scene. Reported by Helena Morrison. I just don't feel like giving these cutaways voices. Tonight, the residents of Mandeville are once again taken back to the chilling serial killings of 2015 involving teenage murderer Jeffrey Woods, known in the media as Jeff the fucking Killer. Last night, police responded to an abandoned home located along a forgotten part of Mandeville known as Shortcut Road. Local teens calling themselves Jeff's Killers were once known to frequent these homes. However, in a statement by Mandeville Police Chief Mitchell Hardy, their activities had ceased over time. Now it appears that someone has taken an interest in the area once again, and this time they're stepping up their morbid fascinations to a terrifying new plateau. The scene now cuts from the newsroom to footage from the prior night on Shortcut Road. Helena Morrison can be seen standing in front of a small blighted home as dozens of police, CMTs, and other officials mill about the front yard. Some entering into the dark home as others take photographs and examine the area. Then the screen splits, showing Morrison in the newsroom as footage from the crime scene continues to play in the other half of the screen. We needed to know that. Like, I feel like this was a story he really wanted to tell visually. Because he's got all these cutaways to like interviews and news clips and shit like that really don't translate all that well to text. I feel like like more than anything, even more than making this a novel or something, yeah, he wants to make this into a film script. So and it's like it's a really amateur film script too. That's why there's lots of scenes of just people sitting and talking or standing and talking and not really doing anything. Just it's just bad. Woodsu received an anonymous tip around 11:20 last night, informing us that if we wanted to be the first on scene for what the caller described as his masterpiece, that we should hurry to 114 Shortcut Road. We arrived around the same time as the first police cruiser began to show up, and we were not allowed to bring out cameras into the house. However, it soon became apparent from the reactions of officers reporting on scene that something horrific had taken place in the small town that once prided itself on its practically non-existent crime rate. I'm going to play for you all the call that we received last night from the unknown tipster. However, I must warn viewers at home that this audio recording is disturbing. The screen shifts to a gray screen with a stock photo of a telephone in one corner and the Woods Zoo logo on the other. The call is played with the audio captioned across the screen. Male voice, slightly modified slightly to raise the pitch. It's Kylo Ren.
My masterpiece awaits those with curious eyes. Did it hurt? He has.
Actually, I don't even know if you can hear me if I do it like that because of my audio software. Actually, I guess it's more like L, because this is still Death Note. My masterpiece awaits those with curious eyes. He has much prophecy to share. Will it be heard before the soul within his voice dies out? So many lies are told, so many false messiahs speak, and so many fools listen. I have the truth, if you will come and bear witness. 114 Shortcut Road. The dead speak there! It's Palpatine! Jeff's killers worship a false god. Only the truth can open the door to freedom. Come find the truth. Screen returns to Helena Morrison. As I said before, we were not allowed into the crime scene. However, a source working on the investigation did share with us a first-hand account of what he saw in the house. The witness describes the scene as something from a horror movie. The body of a man with... Also, that voice recording was not disturbing. At all. Not even a little bit. It's just edgy. The body of a man was nailed to the wall of the home. Rescuers believe the victim to still be living at the time of the discovery, as a faint voice was heard whispering from his mouth. However, upon further investigation, it was discovered that a small MP3 device was forced into the victim's mouth and was playing a recorded message on constant loop. Yeah, this is really dumb. This is a very long story. Screen cut back to the scene of the crime of the night before, where EMTs can be seen wheeling the victim out of the house on a stretcher. The victim is covered in a white sheet. The identity of the victim is yet to be released as the investigation is still ongoing. The contents of the recording are also being kept within police custody until further information becomes available. In other news... I couldn't think of a funny other news segment. Okay, so that was just like a different perspective on what the fuck happened in the house, but honestly, it's just no. Why bother? All it did was make me completely uninterested because all of the other cutaways have been dreadful. Four days passed and things were bad for Dalton Bradshaw and Simon Lyman. The news had spread like wildfire. The internet was burning up with stories about Mandeville's infamous Jeff the Killer. Rumors were flying about. Had Jeff returned? Was there a copycat serial killer on the loose, or a copycat creepypasta probably? Because let's be real, whoever did that was Jane. Like, let's not fuck around with ourselves here. Whoever did that was Jane. Did the cult-like youths that once called themselves Jeff's killers finally organize and become violent? People were demanding answers, and the mayor's office, along with the chief of police, were struck with a deluge of furious citizens wanting the truth. Sadly, for all their efforts, no truth could be solidified yet. What? No! I fucking love that from that happening. It's just like such horrible acting. It makes it seem like he's, because that lady's just like, you're gonna try and kill me, aren't you? And he's like, what? No. Like he's being fucking sarcastic and he's actually about to murder her. Oh god. What the news had failed to report on the night of the murder on Shortcut Road was being pieced together by everyone from YouTube commentators to established news sources. Hey guys, what's up? We're talking about the latest Jeff the Killer murder. Make sure you smash that like button, ring the bell, and subscribe for more updates.
Also, only a small percentage of people are subscribed to this channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Now let's talk about this gruesome fucking murder. However, the Mandeville police who had the answers were ordered to remain silent. Any officer found responsible for providing information to the press would be terminated on the spot. The chief of police, Mitchell Hardy, had raised the bar even higher by threatening his staff with criminal charges of malfeasance in office. Actually don't know that word. Should any journalist become privy to information before he and the mayor were ready to have a press release. What had been found was something far too terrible to actually broadcast on the nightly news anyway. Upon arrival at 114 Shortcut Road, police discovered the body of Trent Vickers, a resident of Mandeville and known troublemaker. Vickers, it's Tyler McVicker, was in his mid-20s, played in a heavy metal band, and was a thorn in the side of the law enforcement for years. Usually his crimes didn't expend past drunken outbursts after a night in the Green Room, a local club in the neighboring town of Covington that hosted different musical acts. The Green Room was the closest thing that residents of the North Shore could get to a New Orleans rock bar without having to drive across the lake. I don't care. I Look, author, I get that you like live in fucking Louisiana or something. I just don't care. More than that, though, Vickers was a self-proclaimed founding member of Jeff's Killers. He'd been generous online with his master plan to create a sovereign community in the abandoned homes on Shortcut Road. This, of course, meant that he'd been in direct conflict with the Mandeville police, but more so than them, Drake, Arkansas, and his company. I understand this from the context clues earlier in the story. When Arkansas began his task of clearing out the old houses on Shortcut Road, he'd been met with an abundance of resistance from Vickers. Lots of confrontations filmed on cell phone cameras that found their way to Vickers' YouTube channel. That found their way? Whatever. Lots of blogging, calling Arkansas a fascist, comparing him to early 20th century mobsters, complete with accusations that the entire Mandeville Police Department was in his back pocket. There was a lot of mudslinging in the form of comparing Drake, Arkansas to Maxwell Hayden. Vickers complained that Arkansas's desire to claim Shortcut Road was just another attempt at hiding the truth of what Mandeville really was and how the lies and corruption discovered after Jesso's rampage were simply repeating themselves under a different dictator. He created a few issues, such as blocking construction vehicles sent out by Arkansas, but eventually, like so many others, fed himself enough rope to let himself hang. Christ! Christ, this is boring. In late 2016, when Arkansas really started ramping up his efforts to clean out Shortcut Road, Vickers decided to up the ante and start targeting actual members of Arkansas staff. He'd show up at the company headquarters from his cell phone with his cell phone camera rolling and conduct ambush interviews intending to humiliate anyone connected to Drake, Arkansas. From YouTube channel Free Mandeville, posted by Trent Vickers. Camera footage shot from first-person perspective shows cameraman Vickers approaching front office entryway of Falstaff Enterprises. Unidentified man in suit exits doors and accosted by Vickers. Sir, would you care to explain how you sleep at night knowing that your paycheck is coming from a fascist tyrant? Go away. I will not go away. Your company is attempting to destroy a community of sovereign, peaceful people who oppose corruption. We will not simply go away. Get a life. You're a fucking pig bastard. Go suck on the dick of your boss. Uniformed security guard exits building and approaches Vickers. Sir, you're gonna have to leave. I'm on a public sidewalk. Piss off. Sir, you cannot harass the employees. What's your name and badge number? Sir, you're gonna have to stop filming me with that. Name and badge number, you fucking pig! Vickers would often be given citations and was occasionally arrested for such demonstrations. It wasn't until he decided to target Arkansas's teenage daughter as she was leaving her high school that he finally found himself facing serious criminal charges. Ah. I wonder who this teenage daughter could be. From YouTube video, Stupid People of the Suburbs, posted by Hippie Hater. The video begins with Vickers filming as he approaches Mandeville High School student parking lot. A young woman, later identified as the daughter of Drake, Arkansas, is confronted as she walks towards her car. How do you feel knowing your father is your... Three proofreaders. How does it feel to know your father is a fucking monster? Who are you? You know who the fuck I am. I'm the guy that's gonna fuck your dad up the ass harder than he fucks you. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Oh. Wow. What did you say to me? Oh, you heard me. What's the matter? Ashamed of your father? You should be. Vickers then lowers his camera to demonstrate that he is grabbing his crotch and making sexual gestures towards the girl. Oh my god. What the? This is a teenager. What the fuck is happening? I feel really uncomfortable reading this right now. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck your dad just like this. You like that, you spoiled cunt. Other students begin to gather, and several teachers start to approach Vickers. Yeah, you need to leave the school grounds, or you're gonna end up on a fucking list, dude. This is a public school. My tax dollars pay for it, and I have the right to be here and, sexually harass underage schoolgirls as they're leaving. This is so weird. I don't like this at all. A uniformed police officer assigned to the school as security begins to approach. Sir, I was informed that you made sexually suggestive comments to one of our students. I'm gonna need to see identification right now. Fuck you! I know my rights! This is freedom of speech and freedom of the press! Sir, turn around and place your hands behind your back. Vickers, who had found clever ways to skirt the law on several occasions, was finally caught. He was charged with sexual misconduct towards a minor for his comments directed at Arkansas's daughter. Jesus fucking Christ. Force Vickers to do the sex offender shuffle. Jesus Christ. I can't tell if I was more uncomfortable during that or during the fucking SS prostitute shit. In a plea agreement with the district. The distract attorney! They're back, boys! The distract attorney is back! How do you make that same fuck up twice? With three property. You stupid fuck. Oh. He kept getting away with it because he's so fucking distracted. Oh my god, this story sucks. Uh, Vickers was able to avoid jail time, but was given 5 years probation with the condition that he cease targeting any associates of Drake, Arkansas. He was also banned from going within 200 feet of Mandeville High School. How about any fucking school? Shake that off. Shake that off. Afterwards, he mostly vanished from the public eye. He played his gigs at the Green Room from time to time and would occasionally post one of his video rants about conspiracies and such, but his mission to bring down Arkansas and his task force seemed to have vanished altogether. Like, is it on purpose? The distract attorney? He's being consistent with it. Yeah, I honestly agree, Ian. This is below Sonic.exe. This is worse. What is it about Jeff the Killer that just brings out the absolute fucking worst in authors?
I'll tell you one thing for sure. This is absolutely worse than Jeff 2015. Hang on. I got some lemonade. Lemonade. Oh, you missed the return of the distract attorney, and also, someone sexually harassed an underage Jane the Killer. So, I gotta say, this stream's going a lot fucking better than the last one so far. Then 4 nights ago, he was found by police nailed to the wall of one of the last remaining abandoned homes on a shortcut road that he once fought so hard to protect. Lodged in his mouth was a small voice recorder playing the same bizarre and ominous message on a constant loop. The message wasn't saved, though, and had the recorder's batteries drained completely, the strange message of looming disaster may have never been heard at all. From the recording found on the corpse of Trent Vickers, currently only accessible to members of Mandeville Police and other law enforcement agencies. No, we haven't found out what was on the disc yet. I don't think so, anyway. Lies are locks. They keep us out. Lies are locks. They trap us in. Lies are locks indeed. Truth. Truth is the key. The key to open the door of truth. What will we find there? The dead beg for nothing. The living beg for relief. Relief of the hell that I have brought to Mandeville. No one is safe. Your lies protected you for so long, but now the truth shall shine bright. Liars fill their pockets with ill-gotten gold. Liars shall be held accountable. Liars shall be forced to stand before the door of truth and confess their sins. Only then shall peace return. Dalton Bradshaw and Simon Lyman, you are but bit players in the grand scheme before you. The true stars have yet to rise, though they shall soon enough. In the meantime, I promise that we will keep you both entertained. Be warned, though, your lives are of no real importance, and may be snuffed out at any time. Perhaps you should make haste, and bring my stars to Mandeville. The victim and the liar must face vindication. The longer you stall, the more death we shall bring to you. Remember, only the truth can open the door to peace. Lies will only bring more death. God, this is edgy. Bradshaw and Lyman listened to this recording for probably the 100th time as they stood before the desk of Police Chief Mitchell Hardy. The chief was pissed, had been pissed since the incidents began again. Now he was moving beyond pissed into a new zone of rage that made Bradshaw cringe a bit. Like this story. This story makes me cringe. Why would you listen to it more than once? To make matters worse, Lyman had now taken a seat and was apparently scrolling through something on his cell phone as the chief was just getting started. Bradshaw felt the stomach tighten in anticipation for the ass chewing to count.
You two, how? How did this get so fucked up?
Sir, we did everything in our power to contain this. However, Dalton began but was interrupted as the chief continued his rant.
You had some pretty simple orders, Bradshaw. Keep this shit quiet. All you had to do was write up the incident at the DeMott house as a B&E that ended with the pipe being killed in self-defense. Was that too fucking hard? And you, Lyman, I'm not sure if your superiors in Baton Rouge told you or not, but your whole purpose as our expert here was to conclude 100% that this had nothing to do with the Jeff Woods incident from 2015. Jeff the Killer is something that everyone just wants to fucking forget. The 2015 incident was a disaster for everyone involved here. So why in the hell is it that you managed to not only fail in your first goal, but then managed to somehow start a fucking sequel? No one wants a sequel to 2015! No one! Fuck you, author! Is it common for everyone to suck on their first go of TF2? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I actually vividly remember my first round of actual TF2. I was a medic. I hadn't practiced medic, so I was running around with my syringe gun like a dipshit, and my team was yelling at me.
like, here's the thing. Here's the thing that's bugging me here. These like little meta things, they're too infrequent. They're too infrequent, and the story isn't like trying to be stupid enough for me to believe that this is completely satirical. Lyman looked up from his phone for just a moment to respond. I don't know about it all that, sir. Some people thought that 2015 was handled well. I mean, sure, it wasn't perfection, but let's be honest, it didn't help that half the brass in this town went out of their way to cover the whole damn thing up. I'm gonna kill myself. We're at like the beginning of this chapter, and I already want to take a break. Maybe if you'd all just done your jobs in the first place, instead of worrying about protecting one rich old man, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. Hardy looked stunned. He was not a man used to being spoken back to, especially in his own office where he made the policy and enforced the laws. It did the situation no favor that the man currently talking down to him was half his age, wearing a t-shirt with something called Homestar Runner printed on the front. Why? Why is he wearing a Homestar Runner shirt? Doesn't the story take place in like 2019? Is Homestar Runner even still updating? Just who in the hell do you think you are? This case cannot be improved with the addition of yet more bees. Change it. I don't think I'm anything. However, I know that I'm a state agent. I know that my boss has the governor on speed dial. Can you say the same thing? I know that my boss told me to disregard your request that I come down here just to whitewash the incident. I also know that you, as chief of police, must be aware that instructing a government agent to falsify a report is a pretty hefty charge. Maybe that's the way you're used to doing things here. That's not the way I do business, chief. I was told to come down here and conduct a real investigation. You have a serious problem on your hands here, Chief. The fact that you haven't held a press conference yet is making you look like shit as well. So, maybe I'll just call one day. I have every right to seize the recordings found at the crime scene, and if you keep acting like a fucking asshole, I might just do that, dude. Maybe I'll go ahead and deputize Detective Bradshaw here as an official attachment to the state for the duration of this case. That way, we don't have to deal with you at all anymore. Do you think perhaps that would be a good idea? Or who knows, maybe I'll call the governor myself today. Let him know that you suburban snobs are obstructing justice down here. Again! Yeah, how'd you like that? Chief Hardy was speechless. He wasn't sure if Lyman could do half the things that he just threatened to do, but the idea of this young punk calling a press conference was enough to scare him into compliance, at least for the time being. He took a deep breath and plastered on a fake smile. Gentlemen, perhaps I was a bit too harsh just now. This has been stressful for us all. I've had the mayor barking at me since this began, demanding that we close this case quickly. I shouldn't have taken this out on you. Agent Lyman, I apologize. The detective tips his fedora with his Cheeto-encrusted fingers and unkempt neckbeard. This voice sounds like Skeeter from Jimmy Neutron.
Dude, you're supposed to hit the buttons with the pictures of the food on them. No, dude, it's salt. Isn't it like a skeet copy pasta or something? Hang on. Like I'm trying to do Keanu Reeves from Bill and Ted. All right, let me see. There we go, copy pasta. Here we go. I would so much rather read this copy pasta than this story. You know, Jimmy, while I can't say that you've never been responsible for helping out the town you also created or influenced the vast majority of major threats in the first place, the Yokians only came to Retroville because of your signal. The same goes for Meldar Prime. The nanobots, Shirley, and Evil Jimmy were all your creations. You caused the Ice Age. You created the sentient pants. You made the sick patch. You turned your teacher into a 50-foot monstrosity, and you injured Santa Claus, almost ruining Christmas. The vast majority of this town's problems were caused, at least indirectly, by you. And you know what? In all honesty, that would be fine. You are very intelligent. Hang on. You are very intelligent, and you almost always do fix it. And in the end, it's extremely unlikely that you won't end up benefiting the world a lot more than you damage it. My children and my children's children are probably going to live in a world free of war and disease, and I'll have you to thank for that. Fuck, dude. You can't keep using your intelligence as a way to escape your humanity. I didn't. Oh, fuck. Hang on. I accidentally. I didn't ask you to say salt because I thought a customer would seriously care or because I was insecure. I did it because it made you look weird, and I was trying to get you to adopt behaviors and use language that makes you come across as a normal fucking person. Everyone knows what sodium chloride is, but calling it that outside of the context of a chemistry class makes you seem like someone who defines themselves solely by their intelligence, which is undeniably who you are. I know you think that there's nothing wrong with being that person, dude, but there is. Taking your IQ and deciding that it elevates you above the rest of the planet is an awful decision that will lead to a life filled with misery and alienation. It will color every interaction you ever have and make it impossible to have real friends or relationships. I'm not saying that you won't have any, but they won't hold any meaning to you, and they certainly won't bring you any happiness. Sure, you'll probably manage a pity fuck or two your sophomore year of college after getting some drunk sorority girl a jetpack ride, but it'll bring you nothing but emptiness. Maybe you'll eventually abandon women altogether and decide your true love is science, secretly seething inside whenever you see a guy like Nick or Bowlby getting married to someone he really cares about, who cares about him. You'll say I'm exaggerating, but dude, look at how you treat the people in your life now. Carl and Sheen, quirks aside, really do see you as a friend, and they'd go through some serious shit if it meant helping you out of a scrape. Can you say, hang on, this text is really small. Can you say that you see them the same way as anything other than the only two kids your age willing to put up with your ridiculous ego? What have you ever done for them? Inventing doesn't count, dude. Even when you build something for someone else, you're really only doing that for you. Every Llama-bot or Ultralord simulator is only created with the expectation of further praise. They're not friends for you. They're worshippers. And your parents? Lord, the way you treat them. You think I've got folks that care about me the same way your mom and dad do, working in a shithole like this? I wish. Every day your dad watches you scarf down the dinner your mom slaved to make you and prays that you might think about spending some fucking time with him instead of disappearing into your lab to do God knows what. They watch you toy with dimensional warping science that they can't wrap their minds around on a daily basis, and you laugh at them for worrying about you. Have you ever played catch with your dad, Jimmy? Ever asked him how his day at work was? You don't have a clue what I'd do for a dad like yours in my life, dude. What about your mom? Why not invent something that'll make her life easier instead of gallivanting the Bermuda Triangle to play with fucking seaweed? We both know the reason. She would thank you for it. She'd be happy to imagine a version of you that thought for an instant about the needs of another person, but she wouldn't call you the greatest thing in the universe for it like your friends do. And in Neutron's world, whoever does that might as well not exist. Ignore me if you want. Keep going the way you're going. I'll see you in 30 years, lugging around 16 Nobel Prizes in your pockets as if they could substitute for a lifetime's worth of human love and interaction. You've always mocked Calamitous for his ability to finish what he started. But the man had a wife and a daughter that tolerated him enough to want to stay with him in his life through everything. And at the rate you're going, I'd be amazed if you could manage the same with Goddard. The rest of Retroville, Jimmy, they'll never be able to do what you do. They'll never be able to invent rockets or solve cold fusion or add three numbers together. But they will find genuine friendship and love, and they will call it salt. And despite everything you accomplish, you'll only be remembered as nothing more than the man who wouldn't. Who couldn't, perhaps. Get out, dude. You're fired. Big McThankies from McSpankies. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to get through that. I have to go right back to that voice now. The great twist is connected to everything in the worst possible way. No worries, Chief. Now, me and Dalton have some police work to do. I think I may have just found our next big break. Dalton, who'd been shocked into silence by his young partner's sudden outburst, found his voice again. What? Did the CSI find something better from the house? Find something from the... Better! I found something on YouTube! Check it out, Dalton. This is the clue. You're not going to believe who uploaded a video response to this. Video responses haven't been a thing for ages. At least not video responses that were, like, connected. Also, from YouTube channel, Jane of Arc. Uploaded by Jane Arkansas. Fuck you, author. This better not have 2 the Arc vibes. This better not have 2 the Arc vibes. Jane speaking directly into camera. What's her Jane voice? I'll do an old mobster. So, you think this is funny, she? You think this is a joke now, eh? People are dying. Something much larger is behind this. If you're crazy enough to think that some disfigured kid is running around in the shadows creating all this, then you deserve it. I know things. My father received threats from lots of sources before his death. He was too close to it all, she? Do a lolly voice? I can't do a lolly voice. He tried to erase Mandeville's past with his money, yeah? But what lies beneath the surface is something so broken and rotten on the inside that money cannot clean. There are people out there with very close connections to the situation from 2015 that still have agendas and goals, eh? None of those goals are good. I spent a lot of years looking into this. Trust me, this didn't just start with the attack of the Dimmits. This has been going on for 4 years. That was just going into JFK for a bit there. Expelling Maxwell Hayden and replacing him with my father didn't fix nothing. Removing corrupt officials from office and allowing them to run and hide in the shadows didn't fix nothing. Lives were ruined, lives were lost, and I'm pretty sure minds were lost as well. My father, he was onto something before he was murdered. He figured something out, something that runs much deeper than Jeffrey Woods, Maxwell Hayden, or any one person. If you want the truth, go back to the beginning. I keep going into JFK! I will continue to release information as I put it together. To the law enforcement officers that are investigating this matter, know one thing right now. I keep doing it! There is a massive smoke screen being put in front of you. That smoke screen is Jeff the Killer. Don't let the sensationalism around his case distract you. Look deeper.
Too Bane for Jane.
Oh, Batman.
Well, I'll be the prodigal daughter returns. How did she know about the incident with the Dermot family? I would venture to guess that by now, Lane Dermot has spilled the beans to at least a couple people. That kid didn't strike me as the type who can keep a secret for very long. Okay, we're gonna go and talk to Jane Arkansas and find out what she knows. If her father really was receiving threats, I want to know what those threats were and who they came from. I like your funny words, Magic Man. Fuck me. This is what, chapter 7? So we're almost done. Guys, we're almost done. It's just this and one more. And this one's not even long. It would make sense that he might be a target. He did step in for Maxwell Hayden, and he didn't exactly have a low profile while doing so. Between pissing off the crazies that hung out on Shortcut Road, to probably pissing off a ton of Mandeville's older and wealthier elite, his list of enemies could be a mile long. Yeah, and Jeff still isn't here. Simon's cell phone chimes, indicating a text message. Oh, hey, more good news, I guess. Looks like the tech guys finally cracked that CD we found. Today is turning out to be interesting. So where to first? Jane Arkansas or the CD? Simon considered for a moment and then answered. The CD for sure. We'll have plenty of time to talk with Jane. Whatever is on that CD, though, is directly from these assholes, and I just gotta know what's going on to shard out of there. What's going to shard out of there? Whatever. Okay. I was sort of hoping that the chief would be gone by the time we had to go back to the station, but whatever. Fuck that guy. Let's get this done. The creepy was when Randy's dad hired a prostitute for him at 14, and also when like some 20-year-old dude grabbed his crotch and made sexual gestures at an underage girl leaving a high school. Stop! You violated the law. Oh dang, my dogs are still outside. Hang on. Oh, thank you, Giorno Giovanna. Thank you very much. Hope Bowie's doing okay. Merry Christmas. Bowie is doing great. He's taking a little nap on his cat tree right now. Is it Benny? Oh, come here. Come here. It's okay. Ow, ow, ow. Why are you scratching? Why are you scratching? Why do you scratch? There he is. Where's my little happy boy? Don't. He is not happy right now. Huh. Huh. Do you want to go back to your nap? Okay. Got my finger, though. I got 2 cats. A Bobo. I got 2 cats and 2 dogs. Are you Critical's father? No. Okay. Simon considered for a moment and then answered, The CD for sure. We'll have plenty of time to talk with Jane.
Whatever is on that CD, though, is directly from these assholes. And I just gotta know what's going... Oh, right. We did that shard out of there. Okay, yeah, fuck that guy. Simon and Dalton returned to the Mandeville police station and prepared to view the contents of the DVD left for them the night they were almost run off the road. Hurry the fuck up, Dalt, a uniformed officer called to the two investigators walked into the control booth of the Mandeville police station. The techie looked as though he'd just uncovered the holy grail of the fountain of youth. Without being asked, the tech immediately went into an explanation that neither Dalton nor Simon really understood. Well, it took several days, but I finally cracked the encryptions on that DVD. Seems that whoever burned the information onto the disk used several variations of encryption software. Most likely the guy got a hold of Encryptdisk and just tampered with the codes a bit. He knew that we'd be throwing government-grade decryption at it, so I guess he wanted to make sure we got the point. Exactly what point would that be? I guess he wanted us to know that he knew what he was doing. He clearly wanted us to crack the code. I mean, why else leave us the disk? No, I think this is more or less a bit of computer saber-rattling. Just a way of making sure we know he isn't an amateur. Well then, how about we stop torturing ourselves with delayed gratification and get down to business, Simon said jovially. Isn't the chief going to come out and watch? He said he'll watch it later. I think he's preparing that press conference everyone wants. I saw him going over paperwork. The real killer was the headache we got reading this story. The techie pushed play and the video began, from DVD left behind by Jimmy 4x4 during investigation into the attack on Dermot. When are we gonna get to the fireworks factory? Did you want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? Are you hungry again after I fed you 2 minutes ago? Are you covered in fucking dirt from rolling around on the concrete? What? What? Mm. Yeah, Jimmy 4x4 and his best friend Board. A Bubsy the Bobcat impression. Oh god, what? I can't even remember Bubsy. I remember from Bubsy 3 years like, oh look, an arrow. Oh god, that's terrible. That's terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Gravelly male voice, probably electronically enhanced. Where does Why does one choose to lie? If you're hearing this and believe somewhere that this is meant to be a profound question, you can stop. Yeah, nothing in the story is fucking profound. You look similar to Hoodoo Hunt. Really? People choose to lie because they are human. They are weak and pathetic. What could possibly go wrong? No, that's not it either. They hide, they cheat, they destroy. I am a genetic evil misanthrope. All of this is done so they can reside in the shadows for a short while longer before eventually being forced to face the truth. One of my most central players has recently come forward, cast into the light, yet still hiding behind a mask of lies. Did he do it for money? Did he do it for forgiveness? That is one mystery that I intend to solve. Close the Discord. What the fuck? Nah, Discord's still there. Anyways, what was I doing? DVD begins to display video footage. Voice continues to speak as footage plays. What appears to be a video shot on a camcorder or low-quality video recording device appears. Footage shows two police cars parked outside the former home of Jeffrey Wood. Two used, clearly Jeff and Lou Woods from 2015 are seen walking up to the front door of their home. A timestamp on the video confirms that this was filmed on the day that Jeff and Lou fought Randy and his friends at the video store. Why? Why this is really weird. These are two, like, what was it, like 14, 15-year-old kids?
and someone is just like randomly filming them before they even become like noteworthy serial killers and authors or whatever, that's really fucking weird. And to the officers who are attempting to make sense of this, know that the events of today were set into motion many years ago. Nothing here is random. Nothing here is chaotic. Everything from the profound to the mundane has been analyzed and predicted. Discord link on the rake video is dead. I will try to fix that. A video of Sheila and Jeffrey Woods arriving at the home of Bridget Hayden appears. Truth is actually far more delicate than lies. Lies are man-made, after all, products of intelligent craft. A lie can be built upon, improved upon, and strengthened. Much like a simple fort that eventually grows into a castle, which eventually becomes a village and finally a city. The truth, however, is fragile. It can only exist as it is. It cannot be improved or fortified. It cannot be developed into a superior product by group collaboration. The truth is only the truth. Nothing can be added or taken away. Doesn't that kind of make the truth stronger? Because, like, a lie can be found out, a lie can be broken by the truth. The truth is like iron tight, it's objective. But okay. Blah blah blah, more stuff from Jeff the Killer. The truth existed that day for only a brief period. Randy, Keith, Troy, and Jeff all knew the truth. The delicate fact existed until the moment Officer Williamson arrived. At that point, it was polluted into a lie. Randy Hayden inquires inquest hearing, the judge is smiling contently as he writes notes. Randy steps down from the stand and joins his father. Who can be trusted now? Hang on, what's that line from the opening of the Berserk anime episodes? Here we go. In this world, is the destiny of mankind controlled by some transcendental entity or law? Is it like the hand of God hovering above? At least it is true that no man has control, even over his own will. And you play the really unfitting opening song. The least fitting song to an anime opening ever. But I still kind of love it. Where was I? Who can be trusted now? Now that blood has spilled on the floor, who can we turn to? A still image of Lou Wood signing copies of his book at a New York City bookstore was open. And even when the truth is told, some quickly to pollute that truth. Video shows the outside of the fireworks booth where the interview between Benny Rosenberg and Jeffrey Woods took place. The footage shot at night shows Jeff Woods exit the fire. We made it to the fireworks factory, boys! Exit the fireworks stand and quickly look around before briskly walking into the dark woods behind the booth. Fun fact, Pokemon, the anime, was actually made by the same people who made the Berserk anime. There is much more truth to be found. If you've made it this far, let us continue our journey. Observe. The video continues to show the fireworks booth, and from the corner of the screen, a figure can be seen approaching the entrance of the tiny building. The truth has become so twisted that by now I can safely assure you that you know nothing. You may learn more as you go.
should you survive. Be warned, though, I am not a friend. I am not some wise mentor. Here, wrong here, to lead you to enlightenment. I am a bearer of truth. But never forget that honesty and peace do not always travel together.
I think if it was Palpatine, it would be more like, let's see.
I shall guide you, but not with the gentle hand of a shepherd, but rather the firm hand of a taskmaker. This will not be a pleasant journey. You cannot escape this now. You cannot opt out. Should you still question the severity of the infection caused by the lies and corruption within Mandeville, allow me to demonstrate just how critical this situation has become.
The screen flashes to solid red.
Kill one now.
Dalton Bradshaw raised an eyebrow, his mind swirling with questions. So yeah, wait.
Execute Order 66.
He glanced towards Simon to voice his quandaries and suddenly felt all the color drain from his face. He drew in a breath to call it a warning. He felt his muscles tense as he prepared to lunge forward. However, everything happened far too quickly for any reaction to lend aid. What? What? One of the uniformed officers, a guy whose name Dalton wasn't even sure he knew, drew his pistol from its holster. The officer aimed the gun directly behind Simon's head. Simon, whose attention had been locked completely on the video playing on the screen before them, never even realized what was happening directly behind him. In the next second, the officer fired his pistol at point-blank range into the back of Simon's head. The report was deafening in the small room, and every cop was momentarily stunned. Dalton, who watched the event unfold, reached for his pistol. His first instinct was to shoot the apparent rogue cop. Then he realized that if the rogue died, so too did the truth of what the hell just happened here. Yeah, is this mind control? What the fuck is happening here? As Simon's corpse fell to the floor in a graphic display of spraying blood and falling brain matter, the rogue cop placed the pistol to his own head. The fuck are you doing? Dalton screamed. Smiling, the officer replies in a manic, rising voice.
Serving my purpose. The truth opens the door, Detective Bradshaw.
In the next moment, the officer fired his gun into his own head, joining Simon on the floor, brothers in death. This is it, everyone. The last chapter. Full circle corruption. If all the loose ends and random bullshit that we've fucking gone through aren't brought up or fucking taken care of here, it's stupid. Hi. What is on your face? Is that dirt? Is that dirt or a scab? It better not be flea dirt. I don't see any fleas. You just love to rub yourself on the concrete, don't you? Kinda looks like a scab, too. From press conference held by Mandeville Police Chief Mitchell Hardy. Today is a horrific day that will go down in infamy within our beloved city of Mandeville. Oh, right, today, this is the police chief. Today we mourn the loss of Louisiana State Police Investigator Lyman. Agent Lyman was tasked to assist us in the investigation of the recent attack on a local family by an assailant who wore a disguise that we believed was intended to mimic Jeffrey Woods. Over the course of the investigation, evidence was discovered that led investigators to believe that at least one other individual was involved.
Police were led to an abandoned home on Shortcut Road in unincorporated St. Tammany Parish, technically located outside of the Mandeville city limits, where the body of young man where body of young man who has long history of mental illness found. Ook. The victim is believed to have committed suicide and left out a recording, mostly containing cryptic messages that we now believe were nothing more than byproducts of his mental health issues. We are saddened that he was not able to get the help that he needed. Wah! So, yeah, everything worked out well for the police chief. He got the fucking dude out of the way. Then, today, while reviewing further evidence, Agent Lyman was murdered by a rogue police officer who we believe was suffering from work-related stress. The officer, Brandon Crane, would then turn his service pistol on himself, ending his own life as well. At this time, we are confident that the threat is contained. The current evidence that we have available suggests that the initial attack was carried out by yet another individual with the history of mental illness. It is unfortunate that neither Brian Antoine's, the young man who donned the face paint to try and mimic the appearance of Jeffrey Woods, and Trent Vickers, a youth who had a long documented fascination with morbid topics, were unable to receive the proper medication and assistance they clearly needed. And now we must face the most painful of truths. That Officer Brandon Crane, a young man who had served our community for almost 2 years, was apparently also involved in this tragic set of circumstances. There will be a memorial service for Agent Lyman in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The time, date, and location will be announced once preparations are completed. We, as brothers and sisters of the badge, are all deeply hurt at the loss of this great man of justice. At this time, I am not taking questions. If anyone wants further information, I can encourage you to read out to our public relations office. Thank you, God bless. Love the shit right there. A slightly drunk man grunted at the television mounted at the Abbey, a dive bar in downtown New Orleans, as the press conference faded out, replaced by sports and then weather. What you say there, detective? The young bartender asked. He had a sleeve of tattoos on her arms, featuring various sea life. On this night, Dalton Bradshaw would have happily drowned among them. It's not detective shit anymore. I'm off the force, Sherry. Sherry? That sounds an awful lot like Cherry. I guess it's just Mr. Bradshaw from here on out. Sherry Willis, who'd served Bradshaw cheap drinks most weekends since she started working at the Abbey, showed genuine concern. She liked the man, although he was likely twice her age. Perhaps she just admired his pragmatic nature, or maybe she'd had some father issues, but either way, she always liked it when he came in. Jesus Christ. What happened? I thought you were one of those cop for life type guys. Sherry, that's a story I'll gladly tell you over breakfast, which likely means you'll never hear it. He tried to laugh at his own situation, but in reality, Dalton was miserable, and very concerned for the future of the people he was once charged with protecting. Sherry looked over at the man before her. Sure, he was old, and his teeth were stained and a bit crooked. He smoked like a chimney and would probably run out of steam before her. Still, though, she fancied him for some strange reason that only a psychiatrist would understand. Ugh. This is garbage. Like, even a creepypasta is following the old Hollywood trope of young, attractive girl gets with old dude for some reason. Like, dude twice her age. Is Dalton being played by Tom Cruise or something? After all, she was 26, had a body full of tattoos and piercings, and would likely be kicked out of her circle of punk goth friends for sleeping around with a middle-aged cop. She could tell, though, that he was hurting badly, and likely wasn't even serious about his offer for breakfast storytelling. But she decided to throw him a bone just the same, or perhaps allow him to throw her one. Fuck you. It closes up this dump in about an hour. Stick around. You can be my security guard. Walk me home. I think I need someone to check my bedroom anyway. Make sure there aren't any monsters under the bed. Yeah, sure. Yeah, anything that could get one of my regular drunks as down and out as this is the thing I'd like to hear. Dalton managed to smile after all.
In all honesty, he still wasn't happy. He and Simon hadn't exactly become friends, but they'd worked well together, and a friendship would have formed eventually. He respected the kid's gumption. What was worse was how he was let go today. Just another fucking cover-up in Mandeville. History repeating itself once more just because lying and hiding seemed to be the nature of that particular beast. Hardy wanted Dalton out of the way. That much was clear. He wanted to steer his investigation back on his own tracks. The press conference alone proved that much. Hardy was clearly trying to tell the people of Mandeville that the case was all wrapped up, but Dalton knew much better. He and Simon had done a bit more investigating during the 4 days following the discovery of Victor's body. They'd learned much more. They both decided to keep that additional information to themselves until the case could be wrapped up without fear of yet another snow job. However, it would appear that for the time being, at least the forecast was quite snowy for Mandeville. Dalton threw back another shot of whiskey and waited patiently for Sherry Wills to take him away from his promise for at least a little while. Meanwhile, in Mandeville, a young woman sat alone in a large home surrounded by a massive gate. Jane Arkansas examined the names and faces before her, photographs all tacked to a wall. Jeffrey Woods, Lou Woods, Randy Hayden, Maxwell Hayden, and Paul Dermott, and many more stared back at her. She knew there was much more to this story. She knew that the chief's press conference was a lie to hide a lie. She knew she had work to do. What was my Jane voice? I already forgot. Oh, I don't fucking care. It's starting again, she whispered as she tacked photos of Simon Lyman and Dalton Bradshaw to her wall. She'd inherited much of her father's fortune when she turned 18. Now she was just entering her 20s, saddled with a fortune that she cared little about. She was aware that most women her age with her current level... Oh yeah, mobster. I don't care. With her age with her current level of wealth would be setting off to Europe, taking inane selfies and consuming cheap liquor in expensive bottles. However, Jane K. Arkansas cared for none of those things. Her father had been murdered, her home set ablaze. She'd escaped with her life, but in the process she'd inherited a dire mission, one which she would happily spend all of her newly acquired money to be rid of. But she knew better. She knew that this was not something she would allow herself to abandon. It compelled her forward, even though she was fully capable of hopping into the nearest jet and never looking back. Jane reached up and touched the photos of Lou Woods and Randy Hayden. As she did, she whispered to herself, "There is a lot to do now. Hang on. There's a lot to do now, see? Much to get in order. You boys are coming home very soon, after all." That's it? That's the ending? No, fuck you. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. Oh, that was terrible. And yeah, it's just sequel bait. Oh my god. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Well, I'm at a loss for words. That's one of the worst things I've ever read in my life. Published 2017. Shall we read some comments? And we can wrap up our thoughts on it. There's something about the story that keeps me going back to it, whether it be listening to it or reading it. Perhaps it's a completely new take on the infamous characters that some people adore and some hate, or that without all the canon confusion, that this is a standalone in a trio of three amazingly well-written stories. Brilliant work. Removed some part of the story? I have no idea. Okay, 6 out of 10. Is Leslie Matthews a male or female? Female, says the author. The amount of effort you put into this is astonishing. I applaud you heavily for making 2+ characters, some loved, some hated, all into characters we can sympathize with, let alone making those characters well-rounded and complex. I have so many questions for the story, and it always kept me on edge. I absolutely love this after story just as much as I love your original reboot. Amazing job. By the way, do you know if anyone will be narrating this story? It's a pretty big, well-written one, and God knows it deserves an audio reading. Wow, Forces beat out the super chat for once. Thank you once again, Naki Hollis. Oh god, even the comments suck. What is this? What does this obvious lolicon have to say? I figured that the Jane story was the follow-up. And I know I'm gonna have to read that for the review, which I'm getting huge Death Note vibes from this. I agree with that part. I want to see some alternate but super quirky recluse detective go face to face with Jeff, or whoever the antagonist for this story is. Hmm. I'm still giving this a 0. One negative comment, just trash. Thank you, Jenniferific. Ugh. Just awful. In a way that, like, speaks for itself. Like, this is just terrible. That's all the comments. Wow. How long have I been going for? On the sidebar. I kind of want to see why this has Microsoft Excel on it. I definitely want to check out these ones at least. How long is... Oh god, that's also kind of long. Yeah, Microsoft Excel. What the Okay, this one's short. Let's have a little palate cleanser with the Hall of Tortured Souls. This is a well-known Easter egg of Windows 95. This is the Easter egg that started the rumor that maybe Microsoft Corporation hide some Antichrist stuff. Hall of Tortured Souls is a little horrible way of showing credits to the creators of Windows 95, especially the creators Microsoft Excel 95. As I said earlier, this works on Excel and Microsoft 95. The game is a simple Visual Basic game. To enter the game, go to Microsoft Excel 95, if you still have a copy. Open a new blank Excel worksheet. Go down to the 95th row and select the whole row. Tab over to the column B. Go to Help About, tap and hold Control Alt Shift, then click the tech support button. Then the game will appear. A window with the name Hall of Tortured Souls will appear. You can interact with the use of the keyboard. There are 8 directions in the game: north, northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, and northwest. Use the arrow keys to move. Use C to look down and D to look down. In the game, you can walk through walls. If you go through a wall with a window, you go all the way through. If you go through a wall without a window, you go into the wall and are surrounded. You can enter the columns. Up ahead was a staircase. The walls are surrounded by text of the creators, probably creators of Excel. On the next level was a really small room with red walls. Again, the names of the creators have been flashed on the screen. Go down and enter the room you were before. Type the magic word Excel Kafa. Another hall will open. This wall has a torrid black zigzag way. If you fall, you will return to the room you were before. You need to travel carefully. The other end was another wall with pictures of the creators. Go back to the main point. Try doing a full turn, and you will see yourself outside that building. You will see the room you were earlier. Now, if you bumped one of the walls, you will automatically do a full turn and will teleport to the inside. This is an Easter egg that can hold some terrible secrets about the creator. Please message me if you found something unusual with the game. Yeah, this is the username 666 pasta that translates something that already exists into a badly written story. Trivia. Hall of Tortured Souls uses a very similar engine to the commercial video game Doom, released in 1993. The magic word XL Cafe is a reference to the cheat code IDKFA in Doom. Well, that was terrible. Let's check out We Deleted You. Oh my god. Oh, this is also long. I don't want to read something long. I just read something long. Uh, 5 more stories in the series after this one. Oh. Jeff the Killer Jane, Jeff the Killer, the Disturbingly Cruel, Jeff the Killer Lou, Jeff the Killer Shades of Madness, and Jeff the Killer Randy. Jeff the Killer Randy! I just. I just. Th- these first two are already so bad. And then there's the rest. There's so much. There's so... there's so much! Is the Simpsons theory at least short? Please tell me it is. Oh my god. Everything is so fucking long. No, look. Fucking Ian told me to read Jeff the Killer, Scars of Corruption. I've read it. It's fucking horrible, and no one should ever read it. It is. Hang on. I have to see how long I've been streaming. I have to see. So about 2 hours. So the last stream was 4.5 hours. The stream has been 2 hours so far. This is 6.5 hours worth of fucking bullshit. It's just, it's just padding and padding and padding, and then a sequel hook at the end. Make sure you read the Jane the Killer one. Make sure you do it. You gotta understand all the context of my awesome Jane the Killer story. Oh my god. Oh. Okay, I just want to see if the rest of them are as needlessly long as this piece of shit. And of course, 2015. Oh, of course it is. Oh, of course it is. Oh no, I have to review this one. Oh my god. And then the third is cool. There's not a short one between them. Oh, Nina the Killer? Another? What is happening? I'm losing my shit right now. I'm speechless. Oh my god. Longman is bad. No, I'm not reading any of this bullshit tonight. Fuck that. I'm just in shock. There's so much. I'm in shock. I'm actually speechless. This I Wow. Wow. On the one hand, I admire the dedication to this world you've created. On the other hand, go fuck yourself. I, I, it's okay. Let's head back to the reason we came here. Jeff the Killer Scars of Corruption. Um, I didn't like it. I don't know if you could tell. It was bloated, padded. It, it, it's not that it didn't make much sense. It's, I mean, there were obviously several elements of that throughout the story, but it's like, how can I describe it? It's like butter, too little brother spread over too much toast. Oh, this is absolutely going to be longer than Happy Happy and its sequels. Yeah, and it was absolutely never scary. It, and that's the thing. I don't think it tried to be. That's something that's really surprising. It's like it didn't even try to be scary. Even the original Jeff the Killer, it tried. On a scale of 1 to 10, then definitely a 1. It's just it wasn't scary. It's like it's about as scary as your average episode of SpongeBob because it's not trying to be scary. It's trying to be this like it's so weird. It's so weird. Like the structure, the flow, the pacing, all awful. Just dreadful. And that really makes it a slog to read because like even if I did care about these characters, which I really don't, like when Simon died, I was more like, huh? Why is this happening? Then oh no, not Simon. And that's I think that really says a lot because I can tell he was trying with Simon. The third Happy Happy never got finished, I believe. And then Dalton is just like he's kind of like Dante from Clerks. He's just like, I'm not even supposed to be here today. I don't even want to be here right now. So yeah, when I do eventually end up covering Happy Happy, I'm going to do Happy Happy and then the little spin-off stories and then the sequel. The third story might get like a little passing comment at the end, but that's it. Any Siren Head creepypastas? I don't know of any creepypastas. I'm aware of the character. I know there's at least a couple Siren Head games. Oh god, this is just awful. Just fucking dreadful. Painful story. Yeah, and they go back on like on Randy's characterization. And really not in a good way either. It's just like, oh, I kind of just felt like it at the time because I'm so used to being an asshole. Because my dad makes me an asshole. I'm drained. Like that ending was such just a wet fart that I really can't feel good about that. Even as like, oh, this is something really trashy. Yeah, it is kind of like that with The Last of Us 2. Just like this character does a horrible thing. Don't you feel bad for them? She had a dad. He saved a zebra. That was her dad. Wow. Isn't her dad such a much cooler guy than Joel? Because Joel, he killed people, and that's bad. Abby's dad, he saved a zebra. That was her dad. It's so telling how fucking forgettable and just like there's so much of it. There's so much of it, and it just says nothing. It's just nothing. Talk- And it's just like I'd honestly rather talk about The Last of Us 2, and that is saying something. But you know, that's life. I mean, the breaking and entering at least brought the cops in, and then they randomly got followed home. It's all very bizarrely connected. Like, what was it? Okay. The home of these random people gets broken into. The killer fucking dies because he slips and falls on his own knife like a retard. Because apparently he didn't take woodshop class, listen to his teacher's instructions. Like, oh, hey, make sure the sharp point is pointing down. Worst case scenario, you stab yourself in the foot instead of stab yourself in the throat. Then the cops show up and they're like, well, what a dipshit. And then they fuck off. And then some random people follow them home from that, which is like, okay, they try to run him off the road, but then just give him a box, which is apparently has a disc in it that when it is played, Manchurian Candidate triggers this random cop into killing Ryman Simon in between a bunch of other bullshit where some other random dude is also killed. And somehow it all ties back to Jane and this, like, Jeff the Killer cult? And I'm just. And to get the context for all of this shit, I gotta read the other, like, 4 or 5 stories in this series. Ugh. Like, I don't. And if that's the case, right? If it's just like the CD reveals that it's like, oh, Jeff didn't kill this one truly innocent person or whatever. It's just some copycats. Then it's so fucking much bullshit because in order to further justify Jeff the Killer's actions, along with a random side plot of making Randy also completely justified. And why? To what end? It's just dreadful. And without question, this has been one of the most exhausting things I've ever read in my life. Once again, simple plan intensifies. I'd rather be listening to Simple Plan than ever read this shit again. I mean, if characters in universe want to see Jeff as an anti-hero, that's fine. I can at least kind of understand that. Like maybe he ends up as this sort of local celebrity. But really, I don't see that happening as a result of him killing his own parents. I see that as a result of him maybe killing, actually Randy, or maybe his dad, something like that. Because then he's actually doing something, being the sort of serial killer Robin Hood character that I joked about in my first Jeff the Killer video. Where it's just like, he's actually going for the throat with this whole inequity bullshit. But instead, he just lashes out at his parents like a fucking psychopath. And also a random cop. So it's just like, oh, I guess that wasn't really him. Only Jeff's parents, who were characterized as being completely irredeemable in the first story, can actually be 100% attributed to Jeff himself instead of his cult of copycat killers. Oh my god, this is so stupid. Ugh, it's just awful. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it just kind of makes him a sort of worse Tiki Toby. Yeah, and Joker, if he just killed some regular dudes instead of like these rich Wayne Enterprises assholes, then it would just be, oh, that's a horrible thing that happened instead of like, yeah, fuck those guys. Clearly someone's trying to send a message about, all the inequality that the poor are facing in Gotham. And obviously as an audience, we can relate to that because, that's how it works in real life. Remember, Alf? He's back in Pog form. Oh god, it's just awful. It's just yeah, because again, with the sort of like people in universe sort of sympathize with him, that has nothing to do with Jeff's actual perspective or how he actually feels about killing people. Because everyone could just be like, oh, he's this super cool tortured soul who is just striking back at the society that slighted him. And then he's just standing there with a knife in his hand, like gutting some poor girl up. He's just like, I just like ripping and tearing, simple as. My voice is cracking. Hi, Bowie. When's the next one? I don't fucking know. This one was already painful enough. Oh my god, it's so bad. Like, I'm struggling to think of a worse story. I mean, mm, at least I was able to finish this on like cupcakes. Ugh, I'm tired. I'm sorry. Like, like reading Happy Happy, I think would honestly. I remember enjoying reading Happy Happy a lot more, at least for the irony of, wow, this is stupid. People like this. With this, it's kind of depressing. Yeah, yeah. We had some laughs, mostly at the expense of my funny voices, but also, we had the distract attorney. That was funny. What else? We had some laughs. We were also really uncomfortable a couple times. No, we're not reading the next one because fuck that noise. We had Skeet. Skeet showed up. That was something. It was just, uh, yeah, yeah. Well, we're certainly not doing it tonight. Yeah, I've got shit to do. I gotta clean up the kitchen and get some more video work done. Why do you torture yourself? Because I'm a huge masochist. Simple as. All right, everyone. I'm glad you showed up for this reading. I'm I'm glad I can at least take this off my fucking bookmarks now. Cause this is so bad. This is so bad. Final rating, 0 out of 10. Don't read it. Just just don't. And always remember, that's life.